he not himself? He cannot come. He is grievous sick. Zounds, how has he the leisure to be sick at such a justling time?
I would the state of time been whole ere he by sickness had been visited.
Sick?
His health was never better worth than now.
Sick? Now? Droop? Now? This sickness doth infect the very lifeblood of our enterprise, 'tis catching hither even to our camp. He writes me here that inward sickness, and that his friends by deputation could not so soon be drawn, nor did he think it meet to lay so dangerous and dear a trust on any soul removed, but on his own. Yet doth he give us bold advertisement, that with our small conjunction we should on to see how fortune is disposed to us, for as he writes, there is no quailing now, because the king is certainly possessed of all our purposes. What seem to it?
Your father's sickness is a maim to us.
A perilous gash, a very limb lopped off. And yet, in faith, it is not. His present want seems more than we shall find it.
And yet I would that he were here. It may be thought by some that know not why he is away, that wisdom, loyalty, a mere dislike of our proceedings kept the Earl from hence. This absence of your father's draws a curtain that shows the ignorant a kind of fear before not dreamt of.
You strain too far. I rather of his absence make this use. It lends a luster and more great opinion, a larger dare to our great enterprise.
There's not such a word spoke of in Scotland as this term of fear.
My cousin Vernon, welcome by my soul.
I pray my news be worth a welcome, madam. The Earl of Westmoreland, 7,000 strong, is marching hitherwards, and with him Prince John.
No harm, what more?
And furthermore, I have found out the king himself in person is set forth, or hitherwards intended, speedily, with strong and mighty preparation.
He shall be welcome too. Where is his son? The nimble-footed madcap Prince of Wales, and his comrades that daft the world aside and bid it pass, huh?
All furnished, all in arms, all plumed like ostriches that with the wind, baited like eagles, having lately bathed, glittering in golden coats like images, as full of spirit as a month of May, and as glorious as the sun in midsummer, wanton as youthful goats, and wild as young bulls. I saw young Harry with his beaver on, his courses on his thighs, gallantly armed, rise up from the ground like a feathered Mercury, and vaulted into his seat with such ease as if an angel dropped from the clouds to turn and wind a fiery Pegasus, and witch the world with noble horsemanship.
No more! No more. Worse than the sun in March, this praise doth nourish agues. Let them come.
Yeah!
I'm on fire to hear this rich reprisal is so nigh and yet not ours. Come! Let me taste my horse who is to bear me like a thunderbolt against the bosom of the Prince of Wales! Harry to Harry shall, hot horse to horse, meet, and ne'er part till one drop down a course. Oh, that Glendower were come!
There is more news. I learned in Worcester as I rode along, he cannot draw his power this 14 days.
The worst tidings I heard of yet.
Aye, that there's a frosty sound.
What may the king's whole battle reach unto?
To some 30,000.
40 let them be!
Yeah!
My father and Glendower being both away, the powers of us may serve so great a day. Come, let us take a muster speedily. Doomsday is near. Die all, die merrily.
Talk not of dying. I am out of fear of death, or death's hand, this 1/2 year.
Sir Walter Blunt.
Welcome, Sir Walter. I would to God you were of our determination. Some of us love you well, and even those some envy your great deserving and good name, because you are not of our quality, but stand against us like an enemy.
I come with gracious offers from the king, if you vouchsafe me hearing and respect. The king hath sent to know the nature of your griefs, and whereupon you conjure from the breast of civil peace such bold hostility, teaching his duteous land audacious cruelty. He bids you name your griefs, and with all speed you shall have your desires with interest, and pardon absolute for yourself and these, herein misled by your suggestion.
The king is kind. And well, you know the king knows at what time to promise, when to pay. My father, my aunt, and myself did give him that same royalty he wears when he was not 26 strong, a poor, unminded outlaw, sneaking home, sick in the world's regard, wretched and low. My father gave him welcome to the shore. He presently, as greatness knows itself, steps me a little higher than that vow he made my father as his blood was poured upon the naked shore at Ravensburg. Now, forsooth, finds in him to reform some certain edicts and some straight decrees that lie too heavy on the Commonwealth.
Tut! I came not to hear this.
Then to the point! In short time after he deposed the king, soon after that deprived him of his life, and in the neck of that task the whole state. To make that worse suffered his kinsman March to be engaged in Wales, there without ransom till I forfeited, disgraced me in my happy victories, raided mine aunt from the council board, enraged, dismissed my father from the court, broke oath on oath, committed wrong on wrong, and in conclusion drove us to seek out this head of safety, and withal to pry into his title, the which we find too indirect for long continuance.
Shall I return this answer to the king?
Not so, Sir Walter. We'll withdraw a while. Go to the king, and let there be in pawn some surety for a safe return again, and in the morning early shall mine aunt bring him our purposes. And so farewell.
I would you would accept of grace and love.
Maybe so we shall.
Pray God you do.
How now, my Lady Worcester? 'Tis not well that you and I should meet on such terms as now we meet. You have deceived our trust, made us doff our easy robes of peace to crush our old limbs with a gentle steel. 'Tis not well, my lady. 'Tis not well. What say you to it? Will you again unknit that churlish knot of all-abhorred war, and move in that obedient orb where thou didst give a fair and natural light, and no longer be an exhaled meteor, a prodigy up there, portent of broached mischief to the unborn times?
For mine own part, I could well entertain the lag end of my life in quiet hours, for I do protest, I have not sought the day of this dislike.
Ha! You have not sought it. How comes it then?
It pleased your majesty to turn your looks of favour from myself and all my family. And yet I must remember you, my lord. We were the first and dearest of your friends. It was myself, my brother, and his daughter that brought you home, and boldly did outdare the dangers of the time. But in short space. It rained down fortune showering on your head, and such a flood of greatness fell on you. What with our help, what with the absent king, what the injury of a wanton time. And from this swarm of fair advantages, you took occasion to be quickly wooed, to gripe the general sway into your hand. Forgot your oath to us at Doncaster! We were forced for safety's sake to fly out of your sight and raise this present head.
These things, indeed, you have articulate. Read in market crosses, proclaimed in churches, to face the garment of rebellion with some fine color that may please the eye. But never yet did insurrection want such watercolors to paint his cause, or moody beggars starving for a time of pell-mell havoc and confusion.
Tell your niece, the Prince of Wales doth join with all the world in praise of Harry Percy. By my hopes, I do not think a braver gentlewoman more daring or more bold is now alive to grace this latter age with noble deeds. For my part, I may speak it to my shame. I have a truant been to chivalry, and so I hear she doth account me too. Yet this before my father's majesty, I am content that she will take the odds of her great name and on reputation, and will, to save the blood on either side, try fortune with her in a single fight!
No, no, good Worcester, no. We love our people well, and love even those who were misled upon your cousin's part. And should they accept the offer of our grace, both she and they and you, yea, everyone will be my friend again, and I'll be theirs. So tell your cousin, and give us word what she will do. But if she will not yield, rebuke and dread correction wait on us, and they shall do their office. So be gone. We will not now be troubled with reply. We offer fair. Take it advisedly.
It will not be accepted on my life. The Hotspur and the Douglas both together are confident against the world in arms.
Then every leader to his charge, and on their answer will we set on them. And God befriend us, as our cause is just.
Help! Help! Help!
If thou see me down in the battle and bestride me so, 'tis a point of friendship.
Nothing but a colossus could do thee that friendship. Say thy prayers, and so farewell.
I would for bedtime, Hal, and all well.
Why, thou owest God a debt.
'Tis not due yet. I would be loath to pay him before his day. Well, what need I be so forward with him that calls not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honor pricks me on. Yea, but if honor prick me off when I come on, how then? Well, can honor set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. Well, honor has no skill in surgery then? No. Well, what is honor? a word. And what is in that word honor? What is that honor? Air. A trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died a Wednesday. Doth he hear it? No. Doth he feel it? No. 'Tis insensible then?
Yes!
Yea, to the dead. But will it not live with the living? No! Why? Because detraction will not suffer it. Therefore, I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon. So ends my catechism.
My niece must not know, Sir Richard, the liberal and kind offer of the king.
To a best she did.
Then are we all undone? It is not possible. It cannot be the king will keep his word in loving us. He will suspect us still, and find a time to punish this offence in other faults. My niece's trespass is easily forgot. It hath the excuse of youth and heat of blood, and an adopted name of privilege. A harebrained HOTSPUR governed by a spleen. All her offences lie on my head and on her father's. We did train her on, and her corruption being taken from us, we, as the spring of all, shall pay for all. Therefore, dear cousin, let not Harry know in any case the offer of the king.
Deliver what you will. I will say 'twas so.
And what news?
The king doth bid you battle presently. There is no seeming mercy in the king.
Did you beg any? God forbid.
God forbid!
I told him gently of our grievances, of his oath-breaking, which he mended thus, by now forswearing to be forsworn. He calls us rebels, traitors, and will scourge with haughty arms this hated name in us.
Arm, gentlemen! To arms! For I have thrown a brave defiance in King Henry's teeth.
The Prince of Wales stepped forth before the king, and niece challenged you to single fight.
Oh, with a quarrel lay upon our heads that no man might draw short breath today, but I and Harry Monmouth. Tell me, how showed his tasking? Seemed it in contempt?
No. Upon my soul, never in my life did I hear a challenge urged more modestly. He gave you all the duties of a man, trimmed up your praises with princely tongue, spoke your deservings like a chronicle, making you ever better than his praise. He made a blushing sight of himself. But let me tell the world, if he outlived the envy of this day, never did England owe so sweet a hope, so much misconstrued in his wantonness.
Cousin, I think thou art enamored of his follies. Never did I hear of any prince so wild a liberty. I will embrace him with a soldier's arm, that he shall shrink under my courtesy. Arm with speed, and fellows, soldiers, friends. And if we live to tread on kings. If die, brave death when princes die with us!
Harry, prepare. The king comes on apace.
Let each man
And woman
and woman do their best. And here draw I a sword, whose temper I intend to stain with the best blood that I can meet withal in the adventure of this perilous day. Now!
Yeah!
Aspirant!
Yeah!